There it is. All right. Well, I can get over here to click that. All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Cleveland Pulse YouTube channel. I am your host, Justin Harold, and with me, as always, my co-host, Jeff Santa. Today, we're bringing you a live on the day of the Browns game to give you a little bit of a pregame update. So, with that being said, Jeff, how are you doing this morning?
Doing all right. Good. It should be a good game. They give us these divisional games early on in the season, so it should be fun and interesting. Third one already in the AFC North. So
third one already in the AFC North, right before the Browns bye week, a crazy early week 5 bye week for us. I can't remember the last time we've had one of those, but focusing on the game right in front of us, Baltimore, obviously coming off of a loss last week to Indianapolis, but maybe the key reason that happened is they are banged up. They are very hurt. They've got a lot of guys missing, a lot of guys banged up. We'll go over the injury report later. We have a couple of late additions to our injury report, and especially one key interesting player, and it's not the one that happened last night, who we'll be talking about that will make a significant impact. But now that that's all said and done, Jeff, you all set over there?
Yeah. Honestly, it's just like I don't know why. It just feels like week 2 to me. And it shouldn't, because we were at home, but it just feels like week 2 trap. Like, I just feel like we're definitely a lot better than this team.
Right.
Their only healthy players of note, honestly, are Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. They just lost to Gardner Minshew, so I'm sure it'll be a close game. I'm almost certain, just because of all those available factors.
Absolutely. Like you said, I mean, the guys to look out for, Mark Andrews, who constantly, I feel like, always has great games against us, no matter who's throwing him the ball. But Lamar is going to be back there, and as always, we're going to see a lot of different things from Harbaugh. But defensively, this is going to be such a fun game. I'm so interested to see how Schwartz comes to attack Lamar, just because it's going to be the first time we see how he handles it, and we've seen how he's done in the first 3 games, and Lamar is very different from the 3 quarterbacks that we played in those first 3 games. So another interesting little note there. But I'm honestly I was trying to come into this thinking about, all right, well, we've got a couple of guys that we got to talk about on our side, but for them, they've got injuries galore. Their offensive line looks like it's going to have a rough day. Their defensive line is not going to, I don't know who they got as backups, but they're missing a couple guys that I'm looking at right now that are big contributors. And I don't know. It's one of those games that if we didn't have to talk about Deshaun potentially missing, it feels like one of those games that you should win. But like you said, week 2, divisional games are never that easy.
Oh, for sure. And honestly, it's just like there's too much uncertainty, I think, on our end, even though there really shouldn't be, because at the end of the day, let's say Watson couldn't play today. I still think we should win. I don't think we're huge favorites. I think that, as far as the gambling market and the betting market, I think it would be about even, which still makes no sense to me. But it's just, like I said, it just is a week 2 all over again, where if you don't do anything stupid, turning the ball over, and you're fundamentally sound on defense and on special teams, it really should be a win. You're at home. You got the dog pound on your side.
Yep.
But I think you brought up the biggest point so far, Justin. How is Schwartz game planning? How does he go about defending Lamar? Is it an all-out blitz? Is it man up, kind of like what we've been seeing, I feel like, in these previous 3 games, and just, let the defense cook? It really shouldn't be a worry. Who's he throwing the ball to outside of Mark Andrews? I guess that has, like you said, always been our mismatch, because this is where not only Lamar, but what's the defensive scheme on Mark Andrews? Is it Emerson? Is it JOK? Is it Taki? Is it Anthony Walker? Is it a linebacker? Is it a cornerback? I think is your first distinction. Yeah. Is it scenario based? I'm sure it might be. But they have no running back. They have no wide receivers outside of Zay Flowers, who's no slouch. He's good. He's young. He's formidable. But really, I mean, their offensive line's a little bit beat up, and their pass rush. I'm excited Watson's going to play, because I'm expecting this to be the game where he takes the least amount of hits all year long. No quarterback power. You don't have to run the ball. And if you're running the ball, make sure he's running out of bounds, not into hits.
Right.
And the protection should be good. If Wills is getting blown off the ball, we got issues.
Yeah, no, I mean, looking at the injury report, they've got two of their best pass rushers out with Ojabu and Owe. So that's going to be, like you said, it's going to be interesting. I just keep looking at, again, after last week, confirming that, like, when we go into the predictions that we shouldn't predict anything above like 13 points, I just continue to look at it and I'm like, all right, well, their offensive line is also hurt. They're Tyler Lindenbaum, who interestingly enough is, a very good center. He's questionable. The right tackle, or is Stanley the left tackle? Stanley's the left tackle. He's doubtful. So that's already, two of your best offensive linemen are in question for this game. So if your two strongest points are going to be weakened, I think Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, LaDainian Tomlinson. I mean, like, oh my Lord. Tomlinson and Obo,
Dalvin.
It's gonna be a very hectic game. I'm expecting huge games defensively, but
we've seen this though. We've seen Lamar with nobody outplay defensive lines that not as good as this one, because we know this is the best one we've had, but still we've seen it that year when Clowney played well, and that year that we attacked McKinley as well as Myles Garrett. He still played, it's not like you can never count him out. We've rarely shut him down. Like, right. If we come back here and in 6-7 hours and the Ravens only put up like 3 to 7 points, I'll be like, okay, not that I need any more confirmation that this defense is legit, but I'll be like, really jaw on the floor that Schwartz has these guys at this level. And that's crazy to say. That just shows how much respect you give to the Baltimore Ravens as an organization, Harbaugh, Lamar, all of them, because, they really have no business being in this game today with all their injuries. Now, I know we always have to make it interesting, happy little bonfires on the weekend, whatever, that's fine. That's fine. And, Watson doesn't throw all week. So I'm sure it'll be very, very tedious and up and down roller coaster, but that's what I'm expecting from AFC North football.
Jeff, let's get back to our guys and what's going on. Let's just get the David Njoku stuff out of the way, because Lord knows the longer we stay on it, the more I'm just going to get riled up about it. But David, I guess, having a little bonfire before the game, maybe relaxing. I don't know. Probably not the best thing.
At least he's safe. At least he didn't get really hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, I think he tweeted that he was, that the flesh is weak and he'll see us tomorrow. I saw that tweet yesterday, but who knows? I'm glad that he's not severely injured or nothing, but something's just got to be off the table the day before the game, and flammable stuff gotta be at the top of that list, just in my opinion. But that said, I don't think it would change anything if David couldn't go today. I mean,
that's the worst part about it.
Outside of blocking, I mean, he's barely been part of the passing game outside of tight end screens and whatnot, but Akins can do that too. And Bryant, surely, I mean, if he doesn't drop the ball. But that being said, we really need to get onto the Watson talk, because, Jeff, we didn't start to hear this until like Wednesday, that he was having a little bit of the shoulder issue, that he wasn't throwing and everything. I'm pretty sure I know not what play, but I know that it happened in the first or second quarter of last game. He got slammed. DTR was about to come out. Watson came out and then came right back onto the field. But
see, you think it happened on the run to the left side?
No, it wasn't a run. It was a pass play. Oh, and he got. I'm pretty sure he got slammed is what happened. And
see, I think it was the play the good play in the red zone where he went up the middle and got hit. I think he got hit on his right shoulder on that play. The QB power that was actually good, and he could have slid. He just needs to slide, honestly. But go on.
No, but you don't hear anything all week until Wednesday, and then Thursday it's like, all right, he's got the arm sleeve on his like elbow, which I don't know, Jeff, if you saw that, like, it's just weird. It barely gets up to like here. So, but
if it's just bruised, though, I think they're worried if it's bruised and I don't know,
sore. It's probably just super sore for him, and he's got like a little bit of trouble, like, getting in his motion. But you see guys like, it's not anything crazy, but you see a guy like Burrow who has been listed as injured for the first 3 weeks of the game or the year. He's played through it, and he got a win last week. But this is one of those games where, listen, do we need to win it?
Yes.
But
1-2 in the division.
But do we need to sacrifice Deshaun for it? Is my only thing.
True.
I listen, I'm not about it, but I'm just saying, is it
if you don't have a competent backup? I mean, I like we said, okay, let's say DTR comes into the game. I think he could game manage. I think he could game manage us into 4 or 5 Dustin Hopkins field goals, and we win, and it's 15-10, and you're not thrilled about it, but sure, I totally agree with you. And at the end of the day, it's another must win for me. I can't believe we're in another must win scenario, but 1-2 in the division is not going to fly. And you cannot lose home division games. You cannot do it. You're not a serious football organization and franchise if you lose home division games. You cannot do it. Not in this division. Maybe in the soft, NFC, whatever South that sucks. And the AFC, all the Souths and the East, they all stink or whatever. Maybe not. But if you're the Texans, maybe you could drop a home divisional game. Yeah. But this is the AFC North, and the Steelers have a chance to lose today. Cincinnati's still kind of teetering, between disaster and maybe being serviceable. You have the pace set on Cincinnati. The Steelers have the pace set on you, so you can't lose. And now you're up on a head-to-head with Baltimore. So pick your poison.
It would be a historical start to the season, though, if you could go 3-1, 2-1 3-1, and then. Am I losing my mind? 3-1, and then
2-1 in the division. But you have three. Yeah. You have three AFC wins.
Yeah, and you're already halfway done with the divisional games. You get the week off with Watson. Who knows how serious the injury actually is? Who knows if they're just right hamming it up?
If you pull a Cincinnati and you're up 20 in the third quarter, you might be able to take them out. Not that that's going to be the reality, but that might be something to strive for. Really quickly, Justin, we got 10 people in the chat. Thanks for everyone coming out. Hit the like button. And Ashton brings up a good point. Shout out to Ashton. The last thing Watson wants is DTR to get any snaps and create division in the fan base. Well, I think that's a valid point. I think that the DTR, I like DTR too.
It's just because of
all of his intangibles. I like DTR. I think he's smart, and I think he's good enough to run a pro style offense because of where he came from and his college background. However, he only played in the preseason. You see a lot of these people in the preseason. You see Kenny Pickett look like elite in the preseason. Comes out, he's average, if not worse. And Ashton, I think it's interesting, but I don't think DTR would come in and totally light it up and go for 250 and 2 touchdowns. DTR might be a struggle for 3 or 4 drives.
And the only thing is, Jeff, the only reason that's a conversation, the must-win shades.
They're in the car, Mike. Sorry, they're in the car. Mike's asking about the must-win shades.
I don't have any shades.
No, you're not allowed to do it.
I'm not allowed to do it. No.
The must-win shades. I'm not prepared. If we lose, this one's on me. I'll take blame.
No, but it's only, like I said, there was a play that DTR was about to come in and the chance started, and it's oh my Lord, here we go. But it's not realistic that, there would be any division in terms of the legitimate talkers in terms of what it means for this team. If DTR picked up a win with 2 touchdowns and what Jeff said, 250 yards, great, awesome. That just gives me hope that Watson can go for 350 and 4 touchdowns, the next week against a team that's not in our division, that's probably worse off than the Ravens. But that being said, I'm thinking that Watson's playing. I'm thinking that he's going to have, like Jeff said, one of his clean days in the pocket. And we might, even with the hurt, banged up shoulder, we might see him air it out a little bit better, a little bit more, it'll be interesting to see how Stefanski, the first 15 plays of this game will be interesting because you script those in practice. And if Watson wasn't getting any practice with it, did they try to script it towards DTR? Is it just your regular playbook, your regular 15 that you go with? You don't just completely throw out all right, because of Watson, we have to change the entire game plan. You still have your run game, and you have to believe that, outside of Njoku potentially not being there, you have all of your skilled wide receivers at 100%. So that's interesting. Jeff, what are you thinking in terms of a prediction? You ready for that, or you want to get a little bit more done?
I just want to hear what are your big no-nos on offense today? No handing the ball to Elijah Moore.
My Lord. I mean, it's going to happen. I don't want to say like it cannot happen, but
none of this end around 9 times end around in the backfield.
Why do we got to do the backwards passes? I don't love the backward passes.
Well, some of them are scripted and some of them aren't, it seems.
Right. Listen, going left and right, I'm fine with it, but it only works like once or twice in a game. We see it like 10 times and it's like, all right, Elijah Moore has, like we were talking about last week, 8 catches for 49 yards or something like that. Like most times you're at like 80 yards as a wide receiver with that. Send the dude north. If he's got the speed,
send him downfield.
Yeah, send him downfield. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love seeing Amari go down the sidelines, make toe taps, stay in bounds, and have all those great plays. I'd like to see someone else do it, I'd like to see DPJ get a little bit more involved. I'd like to see Elijah Moore get a little bit more involved. I'd like to see David Njoku go down the field a little bit more, but are those things that Stefanski's thinking with, Kevin with Deshaun hurt and banged up? No, we'll probably see even more of the loop-de-loops and the backwards passes.
Probably see a little bit more trickery. Ashton says no Harrison Bryant design plays. You might see it today, though. This is the day you're going to see it. Honestly, I'd prefer Akins to be a little bit more involved. I don't think Harrison Bryant's bad. I don't know. I think Stefanski just has this like weird little soft spot for him. We're like, I don't know why we still. I mean, I agree. Why are we still designing plays for him? Here's my little hope for the day. Nothing crazy. I'm not asking for the 100 yards. I'm not asking for the 2 touchdowns. Nothing. I just want some involvement with Cedric Tillman. Like, where has he been? Like, not that, I know this wide receiver room is deep, but it's not. I mean, DPJ's barely been involved in the offensive game plan, so I get it. And David Bell, I think, is clearly above Tillman, but
yeah,
why not just a couple plays, like two receptions, 35, 40 yards, just like a couple of plays where you get him on the field just to see what the guy could do.
I'm sure he's taken snaps and everything. It's just like, it's when you don't get the ball to you and you're one of those guys like, DPJ, and you get one catch, because I only remember him having the sideline catch from last week, He's
had a lot of almost catches, I feel like, DPJ, where it's been like, oh, foot in bounds, not really. Is he returning punts today? 100%?
Yes, probably.
Good luck watching that live.
They never change it. Why would they change it now? So it's one of those things that I'm just like, what would be nice? It would be nice to have Jerome Ford go off for a good game, or Kareem. What do you think Kareem's usage is going to be like this week?
I think it's like 50-50 this week, especially if I think it's like 8 to 10. Well, maybe not that many. I don't know though. I felt like they were locked into throwing the ball last week, and you've seen it with 33 attempts.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the game plan this week, and that's what I think that's the blessing and the curse of Stefanski, is that he could scheme for individual weeks,
right?
But it's almost like we've been begging for a consistent game plan for years. And I get it, the quarterback position and whatever, but it's like, why can't this week? I feel like it's going to be run heavy, like 8 to 12 rushing attempts from both Ford and Hunt. Maybe you run the ball 20 to 25 times. You only throw the ball 20 to 25 times, especially if Watson, I think Watson, if he gets warmed up and he's good, he's going to be good.
Yeah.
But if it gets hit, if it gets, nagging, that's going to be an issue. I'm not ruling out not seeing, DTR today. Definitely not ruling that out. I'm not ruling out just more. I don't know. Is it affecting the long ball? I guess we'll see. I think there's a lot of question marks, and that's what's making me uneasy, because it is the Ravens. If this was a Titans game, if this was we're playing Houston at home, we're playing Chicago at home.
That's why I worry.
Playing Zach Wilson at home, I'm not as concerned.
That's why I worry about the game plan like being changed with Deshaun. Is like if you have to change it because of the injury, you are playing into a good coach's hand, and Harbaugh is a good coach, even if he's missing a bunch of guys on the defense and offensive side, he's going to game plan to counteract if he hears that Watson's having a rough week in terms of throwing the ball. So I was very much under the pretense that Ford and Kareem will be used more as clear out guys than blocking guys this week, just because, if he's like, man, I'm not feeling this deep ball, he needs to look to his left, look to his right, quickly get it out. We'll see a couple of those, I'm sure, but it'll be interesting. I feel like the first 15 plays will be what they are, and then the real game will open up after that point. You'll really see, all right, can he get the ball down the field? Is the play calling being made towards that, or is it being made towards his banged up shoulders? So
that's a good point. Do you think the first 15 is going to be like a mirage, and then we'll see the actual game plan? I kind of think the first 15 is going to be like, like this is what we're going to be seeing.
I hope. I think
if it's a lot of dinks and dunks, I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. It's dink and dunks, making them think, hey, his shoulder's really messed up. They're going to try and do, to say that there will be a screen in there is almost
certainty.
Yeah. For a Stefanski play calling scheme, I'm going to say early on, we're going to see screens. We're going to see not bubbles, but just a couple of those 5-yard ins, 4-yard outs, whatnot. Honestly, I think they want to try and get his confidence at all right, I'm in a rhythm, I'm good, boom, boom, boom. And then you start taking shots, and then you start opening up the game plan a little bit more. That's just me. My gripes with Stefanski with game planning and whatnot and play calling. So I'm hoping that he just gets it done, but we'll see.
Well, with all that being said, we got Ashton saying 13-6, Browns win. Low scoring unless there's turnovers. I'm going to follow the same line, and I think I've been doing this every week, and I'm just going to stick with it, even though it's not been accurate. I'm just going to do these 1-2 point games. Okay. 17-16 Browns.
Okay. 17-16 Browns. I'll go 16-14 Browns.
Okay. It'll probably be 42-35.
Yeah, the one week that we're like, yeah, the defense will defense, and they won't. So and we'll be back on here like, what are you doing? No, but it's interesting.
Schwartz has a pass.
Yeah, Schwartz has a pass. Come on. Historically, he's just amazing right now. But who knows? I think offensively, if Watson's good to go, we could roll. But
yep,
it is the Ravens. It is Lamar. It is Harbaugh. Again, division.
They'll find ways.
They
always
will.
do. Tucker will hit a 60-yarder. It's almost a guarantee.
Absolutely. No, 100%. If I have to be live for another Justin Tucker field goal win, I'm done.
I'm out on that.
Oh, Lordy. But that all being said, Jeff, like you said, everything's looking in favor for the Browns, and I'm thinking the same thing. So if everyone made it through the end of this, thank you for that. Make sure you're liking, making sure you're subscribing, hitting the bell notification, leaving a comment after the video if you came afterwards.